Protestants are not very good at it, actually. Protestants have this idea that Jesus will save you and you'll be happy in heaven, but you should basically not expect to be happy in life, and you're just going to work all the time.
Yeah.
That's the Protestant ethic. And, because they were rebelling against their own monasticism in Europe.
Yeah.
And so it's a mixed blessing, put it that way. So first of all, it's not true that you're always poor. You had a natural balanced wealth for a long time before different people conquered you at different times, yes, and there's been recent difficulties. And now you're doing great with industrialization at the moment. However, there is the Western society has come into what some more intelligent thinkers call a post-industrial time, because actually there's a carcinogenic element about industrialization. It destroys the environment. It destroys your diet and your food chain. It destroys your psyche with too much stress and no kind of internal development. And you can take solace with Protestantism that later Jesus will make you happy, or you can decide to do something about it now, and in which case you can look either into monastic Christianity, where they taught meditation, and they taught how to develop your mind, which Protestantism does not pay attention to, or you can look at some of the methodologies of Buddhism to help you have a better quality of existence now that you have wealth. And you don't have to be Buddhist to do that, even. It would be wise, I think, to tell them. You can be, if you like Jesus, you do Jesus. But you use Buddhist psychological and meditational methodology to improve the quality of your inner life and to improve your appreciation of the environment. And then you use a Buddhist critique of the materialist lifestyle, whether Christian or simply secularist, and you use that to develop a way of balancing your life where you personally, at least, if not your whole society, are not destroying your personal environment, you're not destroying your personal family life, you're not destroying your personal quality of your own psyche. And for that, you can't rely on the Protestant tradition or on industrial tradition. And no matter how many cell phones you have, you're going to just get neurotic. And actually, very possibly, you'll get brain tumors from your cell phone, yakking at it all the time. And industrialization is a very mixed blessing. And in the West, Al Gore, they're running around like, how can we turn this machine off? Because it's wrecked our food chain. The health crisis in the West is abominable. At least you maybe were a bit poor, but your ancient old Buddhist people, they were not into having stomach cancers and colon cancers like you're having now. If you look at the health statistics in developed South Korea, I bet they're very messed up. Having switched over into the sort of fast food and all this, very, very bad. Very unhealthy life situation, which the American people have recognized because they've been deeper into this. And there's a movement. There are a lot of movements in America trying to undo that. And those are the very movements that like your Korean Buddhism and see your Korean Buddhism as a better way of getting back in balance with nature, getting back in balance with your own heartbeat, getting back in balance with your family and your loved ones and so on. So, I mean, that's how you say it. And then you say, look, Christianity, you guys are really bent on converting everybody. Carry on, convert them. But don't just do the Christianity of the triumphal industrialization, because that's not working, actually. And even when that reached its apogee in the Bush administration, where he thought Jesus was sending him to conquer the world, that has proven disastrous for America and for the countries he's tried to conquer. So don't get swept up in that. Did the Koreans send soldiers to Iraq, by the way, for example, South Korea?
Yeah,
so maybe, 50 or 100? Or
2,000, I think.
2,000. So that's a waste. That was really a waste of soldiers and a waste of time, you know. And it's all a petroleum thing, and it's all a kind of false bubble. But we don't mean that you Christians are a false bubble. You're great, and we love Jesus. He's the Bodhisattva from our point, or he's the Buddha from our point of view. But by the way, Jesus didn't say, let's go bomb Iraq. Jesus didn't say that. Or let's go bomb some communists. He didn't say that. Jesus said, let's love our enemies. Now, how are you going to learn to do that? What resources do you have in Protestantism to actually walk the talk of Jesus? We have those resources. We were more vulnerable and nonviolent than you in the past because we were using those resources. We then did suffer from some people who conquered us. And now we're like this. But we don't want to go conquering other people. So you guys can use some of our methodology. You know. On the other hand, though, we would like to appeal to you, as the world Buddhists would like to appeal to you, to cut it out on converting everybody. Convert yourself. it's too late in history to do this thing about conquering the world.
Mm.
But the Dalai Lama here is a visionary, I have to say.
Mm.
And he controlled me, actually, I have to admit, because being so grateful to Buddhism for having improved even to the tiny degree that it did to still unenlighten me, but still improving the quality of my life, helping me a little bit control my temper, my attachments, my obsessions, etc. A little bit enjoy life, therefore more, and have more inner calm, a little bit. I'm so grateful about that I was enthusiastic, and you should really be Buddhist. I was more into that. And he said, no, we mustn't do that. He said, you should be enlightened, you can say. You should be less angry. You should be more compassionate, yes. But do it as a Christian or as a Jew or as a humanist, if you have to be secular. We should be much more like that, because it's too late in history. We have to cure our own Buddhist attitude that nobody will get enlightened unless they're a Buddhist.
Yeah.
And they have to cure their attitude that you don't be saved unless you believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's just too dangerous now.
Yeah.
We're in the new age, actually, where everybody's mixed with everybody and everybody knows everything.
Yes, yeah.
Unless some government makes a concerted effort to censor them and to keep them in the dark about something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody knows everything.
Yes.
And therefore, there's no need to rush around and demand to have everybody's allegiance and conquer them and conquer some rival. It's too dangerous.
Yeah. You said about being in the new age. In Inner Revolution, you talked about, quote, what the Buddha saw as our inevitable evolution toward happiness.
Yes.
And yet at the same time, we're always asked about the Buddha's speech about the Dharma-ending age.
Yes.
That we are in a dark cycle.
Yes.
That even the Dharma is
well,
diminished
he didn't
and
invent
cured.
that. He also said the world
Is that a
was
later?
flat.
Is that a later speech
No,
by
that's
somebody?
right from the time. He also said the world was flat. He talks about Mount Meru and the sun and moon going behind it, and the world is flat, and we're on the southern continent, Jambuling, and the people on the northern continent, on the other side of Mount Meru, have square heads, and other people have triangular heads. We have round heads. I mean, he also basically didn't challenge the prevailing cosmology of the Indians, and the Brahmins are the ones who invented the Kali Yuga and all of that, not him. And he modified everything a little bit, but not totally, because he was just teaching. He was teaching people to change their mind. He wasn't trying to reform all at once their whole worldview, especially about the world. So he just let that stand. And in the more esoteric, but he also said, this Kali Yuga is just a temporary cycle, and Maitreya will come at a very positive future time, only a few thousand years from now. So he changed the timelines of the Brahmins. And then he has 995 more Buddhas coming in this earth. So very golden era is coming, you know what I mean? Not just only declining, even on the exoteric level. So he injected always some positive notes. And then in the esoteric stuff, on the Mahayana, we're building Buddha lands. And then finally you get to the Kala Chakra, where we're heading towards Shambhala, only another 300 or 400 years to go, supposedly. And so, Buddha never dogmatically taught just one thing to everybody. Do you know what I mean? And he taught according to the ability of the student and the disciple to understand and to implement. And, he saw later people would change things, and he gave permission for them to do that. He has the concept of nayartha and nitartha, interpretable meaning and definitive meaning. And the only definitive meaning is selflessness and shunyata,
So along the lines of changing things,
yes.
Recently Thich Nhat Hanh, a couple years ago,
Yes.
3 or 4 years ago, came up with a new Vinaya
Yes.
for the modern age.
The 10 hip precepts,
Do
right?
not, a monk should not look at the internet alone unaided. A monk should not have a personal bank account or credit card.
Oh.
There was you have not
I don't
seen
know
this?
those. I know the 10 hep precepts, the 10 precepts or 5 precepts he did earlier.
It's quite a,
This is a new one.
This is 4 or 5 years ago.
I see.
In fact, he presented it for the first time in Korea.
Oh.
And they were a Vinaya for the modern age, because there were many things not imagined
Yeah, of course.
of when in the Buddhist
Yes.
time. Certain things
Yes.
with cell phone technology, we're in the monastery, we can call outside the monastery, all
Sure.
sorts of conversations can appear.
Sure.
So what do you feel about that? I'm not speaking specifically to the issue of Thich Nhat Hanh, since obviously you
Right.
haven't
Well, I
seen
don't
it,
know
but
his specific list, but
Yeah.
I think that it's probably good. And I would think it would depend on individual teaching centers, and certainly widespread internet use if people are trying to do sessions or 3-year retreats.